In this new chapter, the whole loot pool has been revamped, with the only old weapons returning being the snowball launcher in the Winterfest update. This normally would not be an issue for the majority of players. However, along with the release of Chapter 5 has come the attachment system, which has had a lot of players confused. Which attachments should I use? Which weapons should I use? And other questions of the sort have been floating around the community, with the answers being hard to find. With this video though, I hope to answer a lot of those questions, mostly quite directly. But if I don't go into detail on a certain subject, there should be videos linked down below to help you out. Also below are timestamps, so feel free to skip around. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. Let's start off with the weapons and items that are viable in both builds and zero builds. The superior AR is the Striker AR, with it having a much faster fire rate, with its only downsides being its lower damage output. For shotguns, both are quite good, but depending on the rest of your loadout, one could be much better to pick up. I'll talk about that more in the optimal loadout section of the video. For SMGs, this might sound a bit crazy, but the Thunderburst SMG is actually better than the Hyper. The only situation in which you'd want to pick up a Hyper SMG is if the Thunderburst SMG you have does not have a hipfire laser equipped on it, and you don't have access to a mod bench. Even then though, I might still take the Burst. For my evidence to back up my claim, watch the following clips. Oh, there's one on low. The Hyper SMG has absolutely horrendous bloom without an optic, and even with a good build, it still suffers from recoil and a bit of hit flinch, rendering it unusable in both close and mid-range. The Sniper is quite viable and, with the right build, is very nice for quickscoping. And in build mode, it can allow you to take walls with ease as well. For utility items, the Grapple Blade is probably the best item to pick up as it allows for infinite mobility. However, both the Grappler and Riot Shield are some decent options also, as they have the ability to shift the tempo in fights by obstructing the enemy's line of sight if used correctly. Now, for the most optimal loadouts, it will depend on your playstyle, so I'd suggest building it around what feels right for you. For players that like to play more passive or methodical, I'd suggest the following loadouts. If you are quite confident in the aim department, then I would highly recommend carrying a Thunderburst instead of a Striker AR. However, that would mean that you would have to rely on a Sniper for long-range fights, and if you substituted the Sniper for a Riot Shield, it's best to just stick with the Striker. If you want to play more aggressively, I'd recommend switching the Hammer Pump out for the Frenzy Auto. For heals, I'd recommend carrying medkits for whites and either Big Pots or Shieldfish for shields, regardless of whether or not you have a medallion. If you only have one heal slot available and have a medallion, I'd take whites over shields. If you don't have a medallion, I'd take shields over whites. In the case of having 5 medallions, you only need to carry whites. While I could go into detail on attachments, I feel that it isn't necessary as I have a great video linked down below by Slyjack, who goes into detail on the best attachments to run. The one thing I want to remind you all of is that you need to run the hipfire laser on the Thunderburst SMG, or else it won't be as effective. Well, that's about it for the video. Make sure to like and sub if you enjoyed and want to see more, and comment purple banana so I know you made it to the end. I'll see you all in the next one.